clear. Ok, break. Break, non si fa il break, Luca? Alle 2. Alle 2 break. E quindi andiamo avanti da qui alle 2. Ok. Let's try to just to figure out some contents, some ideas, some thoughts about the previous list of theory of leadership. Buongiorno, ben arrivato. Grazie.
If you know every of the theories will be a successful leader.
Excuse me?
You should know every type of theory.
Yeah, normally the idea for the test is that everyone should know the whole complete theory, list of theories. But for sure, I will ask it to specify, to add some content, some personal thoughts about one of the theories. Okay, so that's why I asked for your time to work on one of specific theory. I just wanted to collect your ideas about one of them. I think we worked last time on the trait theory. We said something in terms of feedback. What we can say about the other, for example, the participative or transactional leadership. Do you remember something? Someone among you worked on which one of the other?
Something Newton was presented from transactional leadership last class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to take back for us also as well, could be very appreciated. Thank you.
We gave an example of transactional leadership.
Yeah. Guys, girl, please. We're starting the lesson, really. Okay.
By giving the Bill Gates example and
Yep.
how he runs his, let's say, company. So, the fact that he has, that he motivates people by reward when they let's say, when they do their job well.
Yeah.
And punishment, so everybody knows their place inside and the place is very fixed on, places. This guy does this, now this guy does this.
We also, I think, you remember that we also try to give a right definition of a punishment in the leadership context. So punishment is like like the Greek a privativa. I just want to avoid or to I don't give you the opportunity to join that level of a result of skilling. Okay, because in the leadership job in general, the only punishment you can receive on that is the fact that you can't become skilled in your performance as leader. So it's the only result negative result you can, and also, I mean, there is another external negative consequence is the fact that if you're not a good leader, in a transactional example, for example, you are for sure to change the organization of your building, your company, your activity. I mean, bad leader most of the time is bad result in terms of organization. That's normal. If as principal of my school, if I have sometimes some days where I'm not very good at working, the day where I'm not good in terms of performance, for sure, I also see my result also from my teacher or from my colleagues, because they don't get information, they don't get example, they don't get, I mean, structure the day. I mean, that's a problem sometimes. Okay, something else about transactional, or we spread it enough?
Also, that transactional leadership is more about the, let's say, the leader telling them what to do.
Yeah, normally, yeah, because there is always there is a subject, an action, and an object of the leader process. The subject is for sure always the leader, and it can be a individual leader or a collective body. So also some offices can be part of the same leadership action. That's why also we work on the practical example of Unipalo University. Different people representing different offices in a transactional approach, we can say, so different leaders doing complementary to the action to join the same result. Okay, let's go on with the other theories that you focused. You remember that we worked on a different theory.
Partecipative.
Okay, let's say something about the participative leader, please. Do you remember some contents and
Just a moment. Partecipative. No, ho già perso.
participative leadership?
No.
Okay, Sergio, did you focus on one or
Mirko.
leadership?
No, io sono Sergio.
No, sì, confondo. Mirko, perdono.
Provato.
Okay, let's try to. I don't know. In the meanwhile, you think about one of the other leadership theories to discuss a bit
Okay,
about together.
Characteristics is 5. Accessible, thoughtful, a good communicator, broad-minded, improvement, self-improvement and group improvement.
Can we just look? Broad-minded cosa significa?
Broad-minded,
Cosa significa? Cosa significa?
minded, non mi ricordo cosa voleva dire, l'avevo copiato.
Qualcuno mi aiuta a cercare broad-minded.
No, sono magari due aggettivi che ho messo nella
No, ma ci sta che sia broad-minded, però non
Che veduto.
di larghe vedute. Broad, sì.
ecco di là.
Open-minded, I mean, we can say.
Infatti l'avevo cercato anche.
No,
Ho
perché
sentito
non l'ho mai
italiano,
sentito,
ho
cioè.
detto traduttore perché di larghe vedute. Già faccio
Ok,
example of this leader.
scusate.
Fanno c'è la connessione.
Sì, così possiamo fare meglio.
No, certo.
Example of leader, participative leader, Bill Gates e Carlos Ghosn, I don't know the pronounce.
Okay.
Vabbè, is a CEO of Renault Nissan.
Okay.
And the different type of leader participative.
Participative leader. Yeah.
Participative
leader.
Oh, thank you. Consensus, participatory leadership.
Scusate però ragazzi.
All members of the group have same importance and the power of the decision.
Okay.
You can't approve the decision without all consensus of the group.
So I mean, it's normal. It's really easy for us understanding the participative process. The idea that everyone can have the right and the duty at the same time to express their personal thoughts or their contribution to take the final decision of a company or a office. Participative is really expressing the meaning. The sounds, it's enough to understand what is the meaning. Okay.
Dicevo, the type is 4 and is in order to liberty of the member. Sono in ordine, tipo la prima la più libera per i membri, l'ultima quella un po' più chiusa.
Ok.
Collective participative leadership. This type of leadership use a collaborative decision making. All members have the same same responsibility. For continue, you need have a majority of consensus.
Sì.
Not all majority.
Yeah, sometimes we figure out ourselves in that kind of situation when we cannot collect the consensus from all the parties sitting around the table, but the majority of them.
Yeah.
Just try to think and to connect this kind of theory to the next topic we are focusing together, because when we talk later about the different role, the different behavioral approach that every leader can have, we will think about also collective or participatory leadership, because we will see which one connect more or less to this kind of leadership. Okay, other.
Free democratic participative leadership. The leader consider the feedback of the group, but the last decision is a power of leader.
Mhm.
For example, is a Italian Parlamento
Parliament.
Parliament.
Parliament, sì.
Sì. And for autocratic participative leadership, it's the same democratic, but the leader is not obligated to explain the decision.
Yeah, that's, I mean, we can consider the last one like, in a final general opinion, I could say that it's not a positive leadership, the final one, because it's just someone who takes the decision without the participation, the really concrete participation of the others. It's just someone say, okay, you said what you think, but you know, I'm taking the decision without considering what you say. So sometimes we have to do that, because when you have stupid people in front of you, for sure, if they share just stupid ideas, you have to take your personal though if you're the leader, and that's normal. Sometimes I do with my teacher when they say, okay, we can do that, why not? Then no result, no good idea, just negative contribution. I say, okay, I can take decision, but in that job, you're not the leader, you are the boss. But that's normal. Sometimes the leader should be also boss at the same time. No, that's normal. Okay, I think we can stop on that about the theory of leadership. Any contribution or doubt or something else from house side, distance learning students,
No, they're very.
ragazzi da casa?
Did we speak about the transformational?
Is there someone who focused more on the transformational leadership?
No,
Because-
the transactional is then.
Because for me it's the most interesting one.
Let's try to say something.
In a short word.
Però non capisco, quando chiedo nessuno mi risponde, cioè sono reattivi o no? Perché se no diventa faticoso poi. Ragazzi a casa, mi sentite? Sì, no? Siete presenti?
Sì, sì, ci sono.
No,
Ho
prof,
chiesto
sapevo semplicemente cosa aggiungere, avete già detto
dubbi,
tutto.
domande e nessuno ha risposto. Cerchiamo di interagire.
Esatto, non so cosa aggiungere, però.
No, ok,
Per
però
quello.
basta dire no domande, cioè non abbiamo domande, non abbiamo risposte, cioè non abbiamo
Va bene.
dubbi, se no io chiedo, non vedo nessuno risponde, possiamo anche chiudere la connessione a casa se non è...
No, prof,
interessa.
semplicemente Andrea ha letteralmente detto già la definizione completa, era già completo di per sé, avevo capito.
No, ma ragazzi, va benissimo, però bisogna dirlo, bisogna dire ok, lato nostro non abbiamo domande, perché io vi ho fatto una domanda, se c'erano dei dubbi e nessuno risponde, e quindi non so se siete connessi o se c'è un problema tecnologico, capite anche me, provate a mettermi nei panni, grazie. Okay, let's go with the transformational leadership.
Yes, that type of leadership consists in two aspects, the vision and the inspiration. In fact, regards the ability to inspire and motivate the followers through a compelling vision. And for me, is interesting because it's vision driven and also emphasize on the personal integrity and the trust that, of course, provide, how can I say, a push,
Yeah,
a spinta
yeah,
to the business.
yeah, a sort of help, yeah, that's good. Try to add to this list also a third very important element about the transformational, that is, transformation, that is the fact. So vision, now what you say, the vision,
Yeah,
then
vision and inspiration.
inspiration, and the final part of a transformational leadership is the action, the
Yeah.
call to act. I mean,
Okay.
that's important, that if you wanted to generate the change,
Mhm.
and the transformation needed to transform your leadership approach, your leadership idea to a practical action.
Yeah.
That's important for transformational leadership. It's the only one who need also a concrete feedback, because otherwise you don't have transformation. Okay.
In fact, in that sense, it's very ethical supported because you must no, you have to yeah, you have to be as a person integrity, integral, yes, and trustable.
Trustable, okay, yeah, that's a very important values to put if you want to change something for sure, yes. Okay, the transformational leadership honestly is a very interesting one. There are tons of books talking about the transformational leadership. It's a very spread theory used normally in Norway and Sweden area of Europe, and we can see the effects of this. In that kind of countries, we have a very easy leadership with big transformation every day. Just to think about, for example, the Prime Minister of Sweden, I think, is the first black homosexual, I think, the Prime Minister of Sweden, I think, probably coming from India. I don't remember. I just remember that someone described the situation like the first example of transformational leadership of a country. That's very interesting to talk about. Non mi ricordo se è la Svezia, però potrebbe essere che ha appunto eletto questo primo leader proveniente da un contesto particolare con delle caratteristiche non comuni che invece possono rappresentare ancora meglio anche la leadership transformativa, eccetera. Okay, now I give you the floor to read together the most prominent types of behaviors of leaders. So there are just like I think 6 or 7 slides. It's not very big part, but it's the last part that we have to know to complete our theory part. And I want to use your voice as well to read together and to understand. So everyone can use the slides. I think they are normally charged on the folder of the course, leadership 160, I think it's here. So also at home you can see on your folder, and also here you can take for your laptop and as well writing to note, to keep in mind your notes and your ideas. Who wants to take the floor and try to read this part, please? Yeah, thank you.
The most prominent types of behavior of leaders. Task-oriented leaders. Task-oriented leaders are primarily concerned with the system and structure that lets their team carry out their work. This includes everything from task description to standard operating procedures, organizational and team structure, communication lines, and so on.
Okay, this is the perfect the perfect idea of leader. The fact that is a task oriented, is someone completed in all skill, hard and soft needed for the job. Let's go. Task oriented leaders show following behavior.
Leader shows following behavior: initiating, organization, clarifying, information gathering.
Okay, finish. So we don't have too much contents about that, but I think enough to understand for sure task-oriented leaders are okay with the job, with the task, with the objective. The fact that they are very organized, they know everything, they have a good relationship with all members of the team. Task-oriented leaders normally work in a very good and fitting way with the goal of the company or of the office. Any doubts or words we wanted to exchange on the list of the features? Iniziativa, organizzazione, capacità di chiarire e for sure a good approach also about the information world he can manage. Okay. Let's go with the second one. Who wants to take the floor? Lucas, maybe? People-oriented leaders.
People-oriented leaders. Unlike task-oriented leaders, this group puts more effort into seeing the human needs of their team and motivating them through that. It's not that they don't focus on the task or system, they just put more time and behavioral focus on their team as people with wants and needs. A people-oriented leader would behave differently, going straight to the employee and asking if there was any way that they could help and what caused the problem.
Who's the problem? Okay.
People-oriented leaders show following behavior. They are encouraging, observing, listening, coaching, and mentoring.
Okay. Now we understand that probably we cannot be very happy only with task-oriented approach. We need also probably a more additional feature to be a good leader. So also people-oriented leader. And that's a bit complicated to figure out in the mind, the idea that you can be one and at the same time also the other. So just to think about yourself in what we are doing now, listening, reading, and try to listening yourself to say, am I the first, the second, maybe a mix of the two? That's important to understand, because we think that we are everything, but at a certain point we have to choose and to understand what is our main content. You know, for example, I know very well that probably for myself I'm better about the second one and not like the first. But what is the most important? The first, the second? I mean, we don't have answer like others. We just have to know and to understand which scenarios in terms of types of behavior of leaders we can have. Any consideration about the people-oriented leaders? If you have to choose between the people-oriented and the task leader, how many raise the hand? And I can see about the first and the second. How many people-oriented leaders feel to be?
I will put myself in the middle.
In the middle, yeah, okay, could be. But if you have to choose, more people-oriented or task-oriented leader? Everyone can choose. There are no bad, no good. I mean, just to understand which approach we have. And that's important also for the experience we are going to do in the school. We have to understand if you want to manage mostly practical functioning stuff or try to establish good relationship with people, empathy, listening, and building your leadership skill about that. It depends. Everyone can choose the sector. Okay, I think we talked before about that, and we say that we will find for sure the connection between the participative leadership with the participative leaders. Tutto bene? Ok. Chi ci legge la participative leadership inteso come behave and the behavioral approach, very connected to what we said before, for sure, we said that. Let's take the floor, please.
Let's take this.
Floor, il microfono.
Participative leaders are those who consult their entire team on creating systems and methods for achieving the team's goal. Work becomes much more collaborative, allowing the entire team to take part of ownership of their work and the procedures behind it. One of the biggest benefits of behavioral leadership theory is that it allows the team to take advantage of everyone's strength. This encourages communication and collaboration, which can often lead to a progress or a profit.
Volevo sottolineare una cosa. Ok. Andiamo avanti.
Participative leaders exhibit the following behaviors. They are communicating, collaborating, being open to feedback, encouraging and guiding.
Okay, let's say something about delegating, because it's something that we didn't talk too much on together. Do you think that being able to delegate could be considered like a skill of a leadership or not? Or is it just someone who wanted to, be naked in terms of responsibility? Probably no, probably, I mean, it's important to be a good leader with a good skill to delegate.
Yeah.
But delegating is not so obviously, because you have to understand very well which is the field of the delegating process. You have to understand the object, the goal to join, who is the right person to be delegate, what is the perimeter of this delegation. I mean, you have to say very well to this person, you are in charge of this, with this in terms of goal, objective, and approach. Sì, ci manca solo quella, poi. Quindi delegare certamente sì, it's part of our background and our part B of skills, okay? So we have to think that it's very important to define participative leaders, but I think, in my opinion, can be very useful also for task-oriented leadership and also for people-oriented leadership. I mean, delegating, we can, in my opinion, but it's not something very consecrated in terms of theoretical ideas, could be added to the 5 characteristics of leadership. But that's my opinion. I also tried, when I studied in the university, to express my thoughts about that to my professor. He didn't agree. He said for him this is not the same. But in my opinion, delegate is not empathy. It's not like communication. It's not like this is something else. It's the ability to track the path about a problem or a goal to join, and the same and choosing the right person to put in charge of that. Okay, let's go with another idea of type, kind of leader. Maybe we can ask the voice from a house side. Maybe there is someone who wants to take the floor. For example, Jack, if you want. Jack è connesso, Pia, non lo so.
I can read if you want.
Thank you.
So, indifferent leaders. This is the leader that no one wants to be. These leaders are the most ineffective as they display behavior entirely dedicated to preserving their position and department from scrutiny. Pardon. These will usually manifest in having very little contact with their team, dodging tasks wherever possible, putting severe pressure on their team to meet targets no matter the cost, and so on. This is a bad leadership style to adopt, as it is result in employee dissatisfaction, a non-existent team culture, and very little productive work getting done. Indifferent leaders exhibit the following behaviors: evading, procrastinating, lack of communication, and self-preservation.
Okay, thank you. I mean, very clear to everyone the fact that this leadership probably is not really a good one. We can understand why, and we can also understand if it's connected with some of our lacking characteristics, features about that. Just try to connect this word to the other 5 features that we saw together about the leadership. We say that communication is part of the list of a fundamental leadership. So the fact that we have a lack of that means we are not in the right perimeter of leadership. What do you think about this? Just have a, like an exchange moment of opinions. Do you think this is something that everyone lives sometimes? Did you have experience about a negative leadership like this one? Indifferent leader, just try interested in preserving themselves, not concerning about problems of the team, not following a goal, just no communication, no empathy. Do you think that sometimes you live this kind of experience and you get some leader in your work with this feature? Just try to exchange together now.
Happens.
It happens, yeah, for sure. Did you have experience like that?
Yeah.
For example, give me an example.
That's someone that could have some kind of responsibility.
Responsibility.
Yeah, to avoid that, he just evade. He just don't
See,
take the.
make an example. Give me a story. Tell me a story. Ragazze, mi viene qualcosa?
In a group, what?
Yes. Oh, just to give me an example that you remember you had. No, you had an example of a negative leadership. We say that probably we can build leadership, so no one is with that, say, no? It's very open the discussion, and this is the context to connect to which part of the theory we already saw together. If it's a natural innate characteristics or not. I ask you, it's connected to which theory? The gradient theory and the opposite approach for sure. So I'm saying that to help everyone to understand that no one probably is already completely loaded in the work about leadership, so everyone can be correct or helped by the others to improve themselves. So let's be free to say, okay, in that job, in that activity, I noticed that my colleague was not a good leader because give me an example to be aware about the content that we share. Probably you were just you had an example
Like
about
usually in a group work, sometimes the leader can be someone who is self-preserved. But I saw that with time and exercise, it can develop and be better, I would say.
Yeah, very diplomatic answer, but we can get to the meaning. A casa proprio c'era qualcuno?
Tira fuori il piccante.
No.
A casa non nessuno, sentito un microfono che partiva prima che devo dire qualcosa. Sarebbe stato un bel regalo, ma niente.
And there's some experiences with different leaders, but it's not that important, I think. Like my former boss, I think, was an indifferent leader.
Ok. Non credo aver capito
So
bene.
he was procrastinating. He was always procrastinating. He was
Ok.
always communicating in a bad way. Nobody know what to do, what not to do. I think he was also evading when he was confronted about it. He wouldn't give answers. So yeah,
Ok.
I think he falls into this category very well.
Ok, va bene. Yeah, procrastinating is something that sometimes happen in a leadership process, but not only in leadership, for everyone. Just try to think about your family, our life, your normal life. We procrastinate everything. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's go with the country club leaders. I think it's the last one. Normally we can add the other two kind of leaders, but for our studies is enough. Country club leaders, Mirko, you have the floor. Thank you. Can you give us your voice to read this part of the presentation? Country club leaders.
There are people who put every effort into to ensure that the human elements of the team are clear and
Satisfied, yeah.
The theory is that every team will naturally produce better results.
Okay.
So I don't put their efforts into making their team will naturally see success.
Success, ok? Cultural leadership.
Ma queste slide qui le avevamo già fatte.
Avevo fatto un'altra parte dello stesso profilo di esatto.
Ah, perché-
Relative, credo, alla Great
Ma infatti mi sentivo scemo.
Sì, però non avevo possibilità di parlare prima vista.
No, perché io l'ho fatta a casa, ho proprio i riassunti di queste slide qui,
Sì, lo
eccetera,
so,
e ho
sì,
detto,
sì.
ma io me le ricordo, vabbè, le faccio. Invece le ho fatte ieri, 2 giorni fa.
Sempre avremmo viste.
Sono diventato scemo, non mi ricordavo neanche di averle fatte.
Perché volevo lasciarvi la parte dei
Ciao Giulio.
per il lavoro che andiamo a fare poi in pratica. Ok, vediamo un attimo le caratteristiche.
Caring is need to focus on employee health and happiness.
Sì.
Quick to support employees involved in the team.
Okay. Do you think that is a positive, negative leadership?
Positive.
Probably the positive, it's just a different attitude from the others, but positive leadership for sure. If we could together just take the time to think and give me a collective participative answer. If we could add one more additional negative kind of leader, what do you think we can put in the list? Just maybe discuss among you and then give me an idea of a more leader with this list here that is negative. A bit different from the previous one. This is the previous one.
And non, how do you say?
Just talk among you, not among you.
Self-centered. Okay, yeah.
Non consistente, poi Giulia certe volte è bravo, certe volte strano. Certe volte sei strano, gasato, certe volte.
Same task for distance learning students.
A volte è strano.
Try to think about one more additional negative leader we can put in the list.
No.
Yeah.
No, che non sei sempre costante, che non sei costante, cioè quello che fa non ha sempre l'effort, cioè non è costante come persona nel suo lavoro, anche se ha un ruolo fisso.
Incostante.
Inconsistent.
Incostante.
Allora, immagino ci sia, perché esiste tutto nel mondo, però è un po' strano secondo me che un leader un giorno ami quello che fa, quello che vende, quello
No,
che fa.
questo nel senso che magari in content creation you have like all the efforts put in and then in configuration you don't.
Opportunismo. Sì,
A parte che per me è possibile
no,
all'Ulisso.
però secondo me esiste un po' di opportunismo, questa è una cosa che ci interessa molto.
Sono d'accordo che esista un leader.
Buongiorno.
Sono arrivato all'entrata dell'autostrada e c'era scritto
Manifestazione.
manifestazione, non mi